Well, hey gang, how you doing? It's Jonathan again from Tailhunter International, and we're down here in La Paz, Baja, Mexico, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz Video Fishing Report, covering all of the action this past week. That's the 15th through the 22nd of October 2017. Thanks for joining us. Please take a look at the information below and subscribe, and we'll get you all this information all the time. We've been here for 22 years now. Looking forward to a lot more. And like I said, thanks for checking in. We've got a lot to tell you about because, let me tell you, things are changing a little bit. The seasons are changing. You can tell it in the air. It's getting a little cooler. Still some humidity out there, quite a bit actually, but certainly a lot less than it's been. The angles of the sun are a little different. The water's changing. We're getting more winds, and that was a problem earlier in the week. We're starting to get these northern winds. Once the northern winds start coming in, the season's going to change very, very rapidly, and we're getting a little bit more every week. A couple days earlier in the week, as a matter of fact, I was kind of worried because it was getting bumpy out there, especially for our fishermen that were fishing out of La Paz. A little rough. It was getting choppy out there, and it really did affect the bite. I thought, oh my gosh, it's already changing. I really needed to hold out because we want to finish the season strong, and we've only got a couple of more weeks left. And we've had a fantastic fishing bite for the last 2.5, 3 months, and we want to keep it going right to the end, and like I say, finish strong right to the finish line. So let's talk about fishing. You know, like I said, we had some winds earlier in the week, did make it a little bumpier, but over at Las Arenas, the tuna are still biting. You know, this is the best tuna bite we've seen in about 3 years, and the reason for this is we've got sardines. We've got loads of sardines, the kind of sardines that the sardine schools we haven't seen in a couple years while El Nino was here and the water stayed too warm. Well, we had more of a regular season this year, and a couple months ago these sardines started showing up, and what a difference it's made. We've got a line of tuna ranging from the Las Arenas Lighthouse, if you're familiar with our area, the Las Arenas Lighthouse all the way over to Cerralvo Island, to the north side of the island, the south side of the island over at South Point, down along Punta Perico over near the old Hotel Las Arenas, into Muertos Bay. There's fish right there in Muertos Bay, literally yards from the beach, and then going down to Boca de Alamo. So there's this whole line of tuna out there, and they've been ranging from about 10 to 15, 20 pounds maybe on the occasion, but the last couple of weeks we're seeing more 30, we're seeing some 40s, we're getting some 50s, 60s, 80s. There were some 100-pound fish hooked. Not many of those coming aboard because we're fishing generally light tackle, and these fish, even though we know there's some big ones out there and guys are saying, my gosh, there's these big boils out there and fish are jumping and rolling all over the place, the thing is these fish are a little bit line shy. So we're using 20, 25, 30-pound test and fluorocarbon. So once you get one of these big boys on, you're in for a fight. Some of the guys are fighting fish for an hour, 2 hours, almost 3 hours, and unfortunately breaking off. But that's the nature of this kind of fishing. So we're getting some of the smaller ones, as I say, smaller ones, the 10, 20 pounders, but these elusive 30, 40, 50, 60 pounders are a lot tougher, and everybody wants a bigger fish until you actually have one on and it's hot and your line is stretching and your gear is bending and it's at full capacity, and you certainly don't want to hear that blink and suddenly your fish is gone. But there's been some great battles out there, and as I said, there's some bigger fish out there. So the tuna still rocking over at Las Arenas, Muertos Bay area, but we're also getting a lot more variety out there. We got some big rooster fish this week. There were some nice wahoo. Check out some of the photos in the gallery and some of the photos you're going to see on the video, as well as the regular fishing report. Some nice wahoo. We got some pargo. We got some cabria. There were some sailfish that were hooked, unfortunately lost, but the ones we did get in were all released. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's 5 different species of bonita that are biting right now. So even if you get your 3, 4, 5, 6 tuna, you probably had 10 bonita, a couple pargo, you had a bunch of needlefish. You've had a really good big heavy action day, so we're having a lot of fun at Las Arenas. As far as our La Paz fleet is concerned, the first couple days of the week I was scratching my head. I could see the waves behind me here in La Paz. Fish were a little bit sketchy because of the fact that the winds were blowing and there was a lot of waves out there, so a little uncomfortable for some folks. But the Dorado bite that's been so good really tapered off when the winds were blowing, and then all of a sudden the winds cut off and the fish came right back. We were getting, guys are keeping 5, 6, they're keeping their limits of Dorado. Most of these fish about 10 pounds or so, some bigger 20, 25 pounders. But when the wind stopped, boom, the fish came back. So the fish are still out there. The biggest variable is the wind. But as well, we got the cat trying to get into my video again. As well as the Dorado, we also had some billfish hooked up. We also found some spots of tuna as well. And this is famous Caitlin who's trying to get on the fishing video. And as well as the billfish. We got some roosterfish. There were some wahoo hooked up. Check out the photos this week because we got some big wahoo. And like I said, we also found some spots of tuna. So things are looking good. We want to finish strong. I'm just a little worried about these winds coming on. Temperatures of the ocean are dropping a little bit. You can tell fall is in the air, winter not too far away. Things are really changing, and the season's going to last just a couple more weeks. Then we're going to taper off, but we're going to make it to the finish line. If you're coming down in the next couple of weeks, make sure you bring your passports. I've had a couple of people forget their passports. Don't forget your fishing licenses, and we'll be ready to go. Hope to see you real soon. Make sure you subscribe to to the information down below, and we'll get back to you again next week. This is Jonathan from Tailhunter International. Thanks for checking in, and that's your Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report for the week.